Shalom, shalom, shalom. I do hope everyone is well. I came to say a quick word to my sisters, and this is quick because I was just reflecting on Queen, the word Queen, and the fascination that women have with being a quote-unquote queen, or being called a queen, or presenting themselves as a queen. And I don't know if the queen fascination has to do more with their character, or if it has to do with their appearance, because many times it appears to be about their appearance as a woman, the way they look, and the way they dress, and the way they speak, in terms of being very poised and proper in their speech, and their appearance being very, they talk about etiquette, well put together. And this morning I was just thinking about it, and I began to think about Queen Esther. And because many times in the church world, when they speak of a queen, they often speak of Queen Esther, and I think that a lot of very important qualities about Queen Esther is often missed, and so I was thinking about that. And one of the things that I began to look at was Queen Esther and Vashti. And I want to point out that Vashti had the queen's heart. Vashti was the queen. So when you're going to speak about a queen, you're going to look at Vashti, because Vashti seemed to have been very uppity. She thought a lot of herself. She got caught up on that title to the point that she could no longer serve at the pleasure of her king, because when he called for her, she didn't go. And that is why the edict went out looking for young maidens, because now all the men in the kingdom were upset because Vashti is not being a good example to the other women. They felt that she's going to take on the influence women, that when their man called for them, that they no longer have to come and serve their man. And so the king sent out a verdict. And so the father had Hadassah, and that's the thing I want to point out. Hadassah, who we know as Queen Esther, her name was Hadassah because she was an Israelite. And so she went into the palace as Esther because she had to conceal her identity as an Israelite, because at that time Israel was in captivity. And we later see that Haman, that wicked man, said I wanted to have all of Israel destroyed, the Yahudim, right? And so the father had a handmaid who was humble and meek, and who had a servant heart at that time to go into the palace, right? And Mordecai told her to go as Esther, so that no one would know who she was. And so when the verdict came out from that wicked Haman to destroy all of Israel, Mordecai sent a message saying to her, hey, remember who you are. Remember that these are your people. You may now be the queen, but remember that you are an Israelite. And Esther, because she had a servant heart, because she was meek, and because she was humble, and that is why she was elected to be the queen, because of those qualities. Not because she was beautiful, but because when the persons who were picking the women, she didn't ask for a lot of stuff. She didn't need all the gold and all of the jewelries and stuff. You understand me? And I believe that's why the father had her chose her, because she had that personality of a servant. She was meek and humble. So when the word came from Mordecai to remind her of who she was, she went into that servant mode. She went to mode and look at, I have to save my people. So my point is that when you're going to talk about Queen Esther and Vashti, or when you're going to talk about Queen Esther and look at her saying she's a queen, remember that she did not only say, in order for her to have the position that if I perish, I perish, that was someone who knew that they were a servant. She was a servant. She was humble. She was meek. You understand me? She was serving at the pleasure of her king. She wanted to please the king, which is what Vashti did not want to do. Vashti decided that I'm a queen now. I don't have to come when you call me. Who you? I'm the queen. But Esther, being a servant, took on the attitude that if I perish, I perish, because now my people are in danger. I have to serve my people. I have to be the one to save my people. So in her humility, because that was her character, humility and humble, she went in. And it was because of her character, being a humble, the queen. The king already saw this sweet person, this queen, this lady, this woman who wanted to serve and who was so quiet and meek, that he raised up his stature to say, no, I can't, I'm not going to hurt her. What is it? You know, he was concerned because of her character. So my point is, I want to point out that when you're going to talk about a queen, and Esther has a queen, do not forget her qualities. Her qualities is what set her apart from all the other women that went in there. Because she was meek, she was humble, she had a heart of a servant. She was not caught up on her beauty. She was not caught up on things. And so women who want to be the queen, remember, the king send the queen away because he wanted a meek and quiet spirit. He wanted a servant. He wanted someone who was going to serve at his pleasure. And that is where Esther come in. So that's all I wanted to point out. Don't forget that. There's a lot of women walking around queen, because the queen mentality, like Vashti, is that you serve me. I'm not serving you. I'm not coming when you call. You serve me. I'm the queen. But that's not what your man is looking for. So you can stay right there with your queen self, and he can find himself a woman with a servant heart, with a meek and gentle spirit, who's willing to sacrifice herself. Do you understand that? And that is why the father chose Esther to go ahead, Hadassah, because she was a humble, meek woman who was not caught up on her beauty and her appearance. Because if she was, when Mordecai sent her the reminder, she would have said, "Who child on me?" She would have forget. She would have gone right in that palace and forget who she was, and sit right there and continue to pretend that I know them people, because you know her name now is Esther. Nobody could tell she was an Israelite. You see what I'm saying? But her heart, she may have had the title of queen, but she had a heart of a servant. That's what I want to point out. Vashti was the queen. Hadassah, Queen Esther, was the servant. Listen, the Father's looking for servant hearts. You understand? There's a place for the queen right there in Europe, in the palace in Buckingham or wherever. But when you come talking about the Most High as a woman, come with a servant heart. There's a place, yes. It's not so much about me saying you shouldn't look good and you don't have to be poised and all that stuff. No, but your heart. It's all about the heart. Having a heart of a servant and understanding the role as a woman is to serve. Okay? So you could be a queen and a servant queen. If that worked, if those two go together, fine. But if you have the queen mindset that you're supposed to be served, sweetie, you're in problems. You're in problems. Because it ain't gonna work. It can work in the world system, because that's where it's going on. It can work in the church world, and that's why you have so many men now, going leaving their quick, nice Christian wives with their queen self and finding servant women. I just wanted to bring that out to you. So, when they talk about queen and Vashti and thing, I want you to remember, Vashti was the queen. She had the mentality of a queen. Queen Esther had the title, but she had the heart of a servant. Shalom.